Hey guys, Mike from Shamino's workshop. Today we have the KRSabers Princess LO. LO? I'm not sure if I've heard Cal say how he pronounces this, but let's zoom out. Princess LO. Leia Organa. Yeah, so this is mine. I had pre-ordered this when Cal put them up on his site, and got it. I don't know, maybe last week it was. I meant to do an unboxing video on it, but I never did. And just kind of ripped it open and just got right to installing it. It just kind of happened real quickly. So let's go over it. First, so it comes in one of KRSabers boxes. This is very similar to the other style boxes that his sabers come in, which is nice. You get two emitters. One is meant to be static, and the other is meant to be for FX. The difference being, maybe really two differences. The one that's meant for FX only has the vents, a single vent layer open. Right, these middle two are not open, and it also includes a retention for your PCB holder, your tri-cree, or your LED holder, let's say. Whereas the one that's meant for static, all the vents are open. It does give you blade retention. There's 3. But there's no screw for holding your LED, and maybe that's it. Yeah. So I wanted all the light to be visible, so I went with the static one on my FX install, and it turned out I didn't need the retention screw for the PCB holder, because the design I have for my Pixel PCB holder, it's more press fit. The thing is not, you'd have a hard time getting it out, as it were, so it doesn't need it. Plus, you'll have either your blade plug or your blade in and locked in place with your retention. That's going to just hold it in place. So, wasn't a big issue for me. You do get your heatsink in case you're going to use that. You get a belt clip, which would require drilling into the pommel cap. I don't plan on putting that on my hip. You get on the static emitter. You get this piece that would go inside the emitter, just, I guess more for looks, but I did not use that. And then last you get your mother of pearl inlays, mother of pearl on this side, sticky tape back on the other side. You get an extra button, and you get an extra one of the small ones, which is down in there. So they leave it to you to apply your mother of pearl. So I did that, and did that around here, and then on my button. So that's the kit. Cal has a great video where he breaks down assembly and recommendation for how to apply the mother of pearl. Which was really easy. They are fragile, But, you know, as long as you watch Cal's video and you take your time and do as he instructs, you'll find it goes on very easily. All of it, even the button, everything was real easy to do. The switch assembly took a little bit because of, well, one, it doesn't come apart here. And then just, you know, figuring out how you want to deal with the switch wire and the pixel wire. You know, so that'll, you know, first time you install a Saber, you know, you're still figuring it out, right? And you know, after the fourth or fifth time, you kind of have your technique down, how you're going to install it, and it goes a lot quicker. So let's open it. So the one thing here, so this is installed with a Goth chassis. It slides right out. So that's the first warning. If you're going to use the Goth print it yourself or Eco chassis, it's going to drop right out. So don't unscrew it and then let it fall out, right? Be mindful of that. There's nothing holding it in. The print it yourself, and I'm sure the Eco does come with this piece that goes into the pommel cap. I didn't realize it was such a press fit. It's getting caught on the treads, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Jeez. But it's, you know, it's a piece. It goes in there, and the point is to, like, once you push it in, it's securing the chassis into the switch holder that's up here, which I'm not going to be able to show you, unfortunately, because that piece doesn't come out, and you can see it up there, but that doesn't really help you, does it? So let's go over the Goth chassis. It is a modified Goth chassis. I'll explain why. But 28 mil speaker, on-off switch, 18650 removable battery, Proffieboard, vent holes, which line up with the holes in the mother of pearl, and those are open. So, you know, you probably, if you wanted to, could put some pixels, maybe individual pixels. I don't know if a pixel strip would line up perfectly. Maybe. But, you know, you could add Shine-thru. I don't know if that was done intentionally or not. But what I can tell you is when it's on, you're feeling the vibrations, and you're also feeling the sound wave. The air movement from the speaker is coming through these holes, which was a little weird at first, but now it's kind of cool. So I did have to modify, or not that I had to, I didn't have the new Shtok switch pixel PCB, which this chassis is designed for. So instead I modified it to use mine. My PCB is about 22 millimeter outer diameter. The Shtok one, I didn't measure, but it was smaller. So I just had to open, you know, it's a print it yourself, so I was able to put the STL in Tinkercad and just made the outer, you know, made the PCB holder larger. Same thing with the switch holder that's holding the blade side in there. I just had to increase the diameter, and it's perfect. I did not implement these. One, because I feared that if I needed to remove this, I had no way of accessing that. Getting a tool or, you know, something to pop out the PCB was my concern. So I did not do anything here. And I'm not sure that I want light to bleed through these small little holes. I'm on the fence, I guess. And these decals, I've been meaning, maybe I've shown them off before, but, you know, there's a gentleman, I think in the UK, who sells these on his Etsy store. They're just stickers. They're decals that they don't replace the plastic wrapping on the battery. They just stick onto it. And that's important, right? You don't want to remove the wrap because the sticker isn't going to shield or protect the battery. So you want to keep your wrap on. But yeah, these fit nicely and give your chassis a nice look, right? Because you can go on that side, you can go on this side, maybe a little bit of both. So you got a good fit. Keystone battery terminals are used.
So much I want to tell you. Tell me when you get back.
There's no switches on here, so I can't really control it. And the blade style I use, once it makes contact, you'll see the emitter ignite. But one thing I did want to talk about, so, and Cal goes over this, these screws holding these pieces in place, they do extend inside of the hilt. And so this Goth chassis have, because they're just 60 degrees apart. Right, there's 6 grips, 360 divided by 6. So you get your 60 degree lines apart. The issue is the battery, right? You can't cut a hole in the battery. So the battery is aligned with the switch. So I did have to grind these 2 screws. So I just removed them and removed the material so that it was flush on the inside. And that's it. And that, I guess it works out having the screws penetrate the inside of the hilt because the hilt won't turn. I'm sorry, the chassis won't turn or rotate. And that's important for the Shtok PCB. My understanding is the Shtok PCB, you can't rotate it. It's sort of fixed, meaning the connection to the blade side PCB is static, and it's a certain orientation. So having those screws help keep that in place, right? You didn't have to design around that, which was probably helpful. And only having to sand 2 screws, not a big deal. Okay, so with that said, turn it on.
This mission is everything. We cannot fail.
So you can see once it makes contact, I have a pulsing blade style. And then once you get your pommel cap on, it locks it in place. Now it's only 1 button, so this is, configured in 1 button mode. I'm not a big 1 button saber guy, so I don't know all of the button commands. This is SA22 prop file, modified slightly. I do modify it slightly to, I remove the volume commands, and I also make it quick on and quick off, meaning single blade, single click ignition, short click, and then short click to turn the saber off. The other thing, which I'm hoping you're noticing here, is the blade plug. The kit only comes with sort of the muffin top, with a blade plug top. It doesn't come as a complete blade plug. So, with the idea being that you get some blade stock, cut it to size, and glue the, I call it a muffin top, but glue the metal top onto it. But then I said to myself, well, instead of just using blade stock, why don't I just 3D print something that will fill that space? Now I used, just this natural translucent PLA, but you could go resin. So I'm actually going to toss that up on the Etsy store, because I'm sure there's probably a ton of these out in the wild, and people are going to have to cut blade stock and then fit and glue it into the blade stock, because you drop it into the blade stock, but now you have to glue it or affix it somehow to the blade stock so that it doesn't move. So I said, you know what, instead of dealing with that, I'll just design something simple, and I didn't even have to glue this. It's just press fit in. So that's in there. That ain't coming out. And I did add a little bit of a recess here so that it avoids the pins. Not because I was worried about conductivity issue, but there was no reason to touch the pins or put stress on them. And they go around the pins due to the recess. You won't see them. That's really what the design was about. And then, you can just tighten down your retention. I like that there's 3 of them because that will allow you to center the blade plug or the blade as opposed to just having one, which pushes the blade or the blade plug to the other side, right? And I think that came out awesome. One, because all 3 vents are open. That's why I went with this style emitter. But 2, you got your nice ring around and through the center. So that actually came out really nice. The other tweak I might make to the blade plug, I'm on the fence here, if I want to do this or not, is, I'll put a blade in, so I'll leave the blade plug out. What I'm not sure I want to do is add height to the print so that it hugs the metal as opposed to being under the metal. Because there's only maybe 2 millimeters of a wall, which resin will probably handle better than the filament will. So I just don't know. I don't know if it's necessary. So I'm on the fence with that, but I'll take that out. The other thing I was having trouble, so I went blade stock initially, but my 1-inch blade stock is too snug in here. So my other concern was when I started putting the blade stock in, it got stuck right here. And I'm glad I didn't force it in because I would not have gotten it out. Certainly not without damaging this. So then I started sanding the blade stock and it just took forever. Didn't really want to deal with it. So it was just easier. I designed something so simple and it works so much nicer than the blade stock. So yeah, check out the Etsy store for that. I'm going to add that. And this way, you just buy this small cheap part and then press fit your muffin top into it and you're good to go. So, oh yeah, let me show, so along the lines of, so that's my holder. You can see the silver, so short pin, Shtok PCB, in my low profile holder that I used on the GL9. I use it on the LS6, on the Heroes. It's, like I say, it's low profile because it's only like 4 millimeters tall. It holds the short pin version nicely. And yeah, really, that's really it. So I'm finding this inner diameter of the emitter snug. So the one I use on the GL9 was a little too wide. So I'm going to have to shorten it, and then I'll throw one up on the store in case people need low profile holders and like this style. But nothing out of the ordinary here. The font is Jesse or Kyberphonics royalty, and I'm using Fetz blade styles, and like I said, I'm I'm not up to speed on all the one button commands. I still have to work with that, but yeah. So just the two fonts, the battery font, you know, for blade style, battery voltage check, and royalty. The only other thing I was thinking I'll do, I have my G09 back here as well. I don't think I showed this off. I purchased, so there's a gentleman in the community, Gene, he went and had the synthetic perloid, I think is called, made, and I bought two sets, one for mine and one for my daughters. And you know, I removed the metal inlay that was in there, which was just, you know, taped on, so, you know, carefully prying it off and not scratching the hilt, and then putting these on, which came with double-sided tape, and I think it looks great. It really enhances the look of the G09. But just to give you a side-by-side comparison of the G09 in my right hand, the KR version in my left hand, you know, no open venting, two buttons though. I like the two buttons. It is larger, longer, wider. Weight is about the same. I have the blade in here, so maybe that's throwing it off a little bit, but yeah, you know, pros and cons, I would say. Would I say this is more accurate? Maybe. You know, I didn't even research it. I'm sure this is probably more accurate to the replica or to the film. But, you know, one button, it doesn't separate here. So that's a little bit of a drawback for me. But, you know, on the flip side, I liked the open venting. I like the color. I like the real mother of pearl. You also get the mother of pearl around this band, which the G09 doesn't have around this band. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep the G09 in addition and just have both. Because don't get me wrong, the G09 is nice. I like the G09. And I know there's other models out there too, right? I think there's an LGT. There's Wonderful Sabers has their Hope. I think it's called Hope. So I'm not sure. I might keep it. I might sell it. We'll see. So put this over here. Yeah, so just a quick video. That's it. I you know, just wanted to show it off, show the install, and show off the blade plug. You know, come check that out. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.